Welcome back. I certainly hope you enjoyed your break. Yes? Yes. Oh, lovely. Now, where were we in our story? Ah, yes. Jonathan had just, had just stormed into Jonathan's house declaring his love for Claire, at which point Jonathan said,
Farnsworth, why don't you go drive off a bridge somewhere?
Well, immediately after that,
I saw you kiss Matilda. I know that you have feelings for her. I know everything about you, you deceitful, deceitful man.
Lies, all lies. How dare you besmirch the name of a dead woman?
And yet you tried to be with her. And a number of times she has denied your love.
It was never meant to be. She's dead now.
Yes, dead. Perhaps you could mount her head on your wall.
Farnsworth. That's sick even for you.
Is this who you truly love?
Claire, do you believe this raving lunatic?
Or you perhaps just marrying him for his money?
What was that about you having an affair on me earlier?
I just said it to be trendy.
Yes, you see? If you truly loved him, you would not think about him in these ways. You would be with me. I will offer you happiness. I will drive us into the sunset.
Claire! Where will you live? In his car?
Oh, darling,
Why don't we move the marriage up and get married this very evening?
Yes, let's.
You dare, Claire.
Did you just call me a den?
I said you dare not. Oh. Claire, look at me. Look at me. Look at my eyes. Tell me now. Tell me you do not want to be with me. Tell me you do not love me.
I don't love you. You are way too young for me.
Claire, I've loved you for the last 20 years. Since I was 65. And you were 15.
Darling, I have wanted to hear those words for so long.
Please make me the happiest big game hunter here in the English countryside and marry me this very evening.
I shall wear the leopard wedding dress.
Wait, I want to do this right.
You will regret this.
You were saying?
Damn it, I forgot the ring. Hold on. It's here on the rhino's horn. Claire Marysworth.
Please stay alive for this part.
Will you marry me?
Yes! Yes, my darling.
Strange lot of murders this one, isn't it, Lisbeth?
It really is. This is keeping us busy.
Well, I'll say. Coffee?
Yes, please. Can't turn down a cuppa.
Well, you know, Lisbeth, I suppose you think it's quite a secret, but some of us on the force couldn't help but notice some special attention you've been paying to the inspector lately.
All right. What about it?
Oh,
Come on.
come now,
Do you
Lisbeth.
think I'll have a chance with him?
Well, I don't see why not. You're soft on him, aren't you?
But I am. He's such a cutie pie.
Well, what are you waiting for then?
My right moment.
Right moment.
Well, I plan on it. I'm going to get him into the office or some sort of crime scene, maybe. That'll turn him on. And I'm going to tell him my true feelings.
Lisbeth, you've harbored these feelings for him for, it must be 3 years now.
Well, I'm a slow over. I just want to make sure he really likes me. And you know, the other day when I had to tell him the bad news about the first murder that happened this week,
Yes.
I gave him a little on the nose.
Did you?
And I could swear his eyes started to glisten. I think he likes me back.
Lisbeth, you and I have been friends for so many years now. You are one of the smartest, most competent police officers, most pretty girls, and most charming companions one could ask for. And yet here you sit all by yourself for this poor inferiority complex you have. Whatever are you waiting for? I know you keep saying you're going to tell him your feelings, but you never do.
Can I be honest with you and share a secret about my past? I'm waiting for an answer.
Oh, yes!
You see, there was a time where I was known as a more forward lady. And I actually, in my youth, had a big crush on the postman. And I told him so, and we actually went out.
Well, that sounds very nice.
It was, until I found out he was in love with my mother. He was just using me. Well, I'll tell you, since then I haven't had it in me to be rejected again. But my mother's dead now, so I figure, well, go live. What do you think?
I think that Inspector Craddock would be a fool to reject you, and I think you ought to brush off that uniform of yours, march right into that office of his, and tell him exactly how you feel, Lisbeth.
I'm going to do it.
Are you?
Thank you, you're the best friend. You can stop hugging me now.
Oh, Miss Marple.
Jonathan.
So nice of you to come by.
Yes, I was trying to do it your way. It's a lot easier my way.
We've known each other for 70 years.
70 years.
Since grade school.
Yes. Jonathan.
You never married, did you?
No.
Nor did I. Well, until this evening.
You married this evening?
I'm getting married this evening.
Oh.
I'm marrying Claire. Well, I know, she's a little young for me, but...
Indeed.
Well, it's time to settle down.
Jonathan, those are words I wish you had said 60 years ago.
60 years ago, I was a young man. I still had most of my best hunts ahead of me.
I remember. You couldn't be tamed. You were a wild one. A life here in St. Mary Mead, shackled to a lady, with children running around, that would have just tortured you. No, you had to go out, and unfortunately, you made some highly inappropriate choices of love when you were younger, including your now deceased son's mother.
Indeed. There I was, the Australian outback, hunting kangaroos. When I saw this woman, she turned my world upside down. She took me into the outback, and we made passionate love. You know, when you make love in the southern hemisphere, well, perhaps I've said too much. It was only after that I learned that she was in Australia because she was a convicted felon. A murderer. I stayed around just long enough for my son, little hanky-panky, to be born. And then I hightailed it out of there.
But what a disappointment he was for you.
Well, the boy was nothing like me. He never wanted to hunt. He never wanted to enjoy the spoils of life.
He was soft.
Yes, but maybe that's because I sheltered him. I was afraid that if he tasted too much of the verve of life, he might repeat his mother's trappings. You know, I've found myself thinking of her as of late. There's something that's been bothering me about my gun safe. Dumbo still hasn't turned up. And there were only a handful of people who knew the combination to that safe. Me, of course, and Henry, God rest his soul. And, well, Claire, my fiancée.
Yes.
Claire! So glad to catch you. Oh, why, your home looks lovely. Oh, the wedding preparations are going swimmingly.
Yes, Jonathan is napping before we get married, so he'll wake up in 5 or 6 hours. Do sit down.
Well, I was hoping we could meet in the garden, but here is
Oh.
just as well.
We can meet there if you like. It's lovely out today.
Oh, if it's not too much trouble,
Oh,
it's all the
let's.
way.
Oh, no, come on. I do need a bit of sunshine. It's been so gray.
Now, Claire, I wanted to speak to you about the two deceased parties.
Oh, I know, it's dreadful, isn't it, Jonathan? I was so afraid that that might be the end of him. It's just awful, really.
Claire, some would call it bad luck to get married after such grave circumstances. I dare say that this wedding should be called off, don't you?
Oh, no, it can't be called off now. I know I've had that kind of luck in the past where I've gotten married or almost close to it and people die, but that's not my fault. It's just that I choose badly, but not really badly. See, the thing is, I just look for love in all the wrong places. And I've actually been looking for love all my life. I'll tell you all about it, actually, because I think it'll fill in some of the gaps. And maybe you won't look at me quite that way and make me feel like I've done something wrong. You see, I never had a home. I didn't have a mother or father. Well, I had a mother. She was terrible. She kicked me out when I was probably 5. And so I worked my way around London to Stafford, everywhere. Actually, I was looking for a daddy. And then I would fall in love with men who were 20 years older than me and sometimes 30, but it doesn't really matter. I love them all. But then one day, I decided I would go on a safari because, you know, I learned that I liked men with big guns and I hadn't seen one in a while. And then all of a sudden, there was Jonathan with the most enormous gun I had ever laid my eyes on. Oh my goodness, it was...
That's quite enough. Claire, I get the picture.
Oh, but you see, in that moment, I fell in love. I truly, truly fell in love with him. And we have fun. That's the whole point. I'm having fun. Everybody I've met before that I never had fun with, I get to play with him. And I want to play with him as long as he's alive. Don't you know that?
Claire, can I ask you something? I have heard talk all around town that you have been making mentions of only marrying Mr. Jonathan because of his wealth. And now you're giving me this bullock story that you're truly in love with him. So is it the wealth or the love?
People aren't going to believe me if I say I love him for his gun. I love him for who he is. And the money's just a side benefit. That's all.
I understand.
I do. Look at me. He's beautiful. He's tall and he's handsome. He's funny. And I love to run around with him and play. And we play big game hunter. And
Oh, it's so fun when he likes to shoot me. Can I tell you what we do next?
Only if it's pertinent to the case.
Oh, well, it could be. It could be about his gun.
Please elaborate.
Well, well, we've been playing lately, and the strangest thing is that when I asked him to get his big gun out, he lost it. He was quite upset. He went to the combination, and I told him exactly what it was, because he's kind of forgetful. And when he opened it, it was gone. Gone. And I
Yes.
thought he was going to have a heart attack right there. That's his favorite gun.
You're referring to the one that he calls Dumbo?
Yes, Dumbo.
You're sure that you have no clue what could have happened to that weapon?
I've been racking my brain about it. I just don't know. Oh, but you know what?
What?
I heard that there was somebody in town that I don't trust at all, and I have not laid eyes on her yet, but Jennifer. Yes, Jennifer.
You mean to tell me that you believe that Jennifer broke into this home, broke into that safe, which it seems you only know the code to?
It's totally like her. She can figure out a code. That's what she does. She's a mathematician. All she has to do is figure out the odds, work it out, and then it's done. Of course she knows how to open a code safe. Of course.
I appreciate you making some time for me, sir.
Of course, officer.
Oh, those are some drastically beautiful decorations you have on the walls there.
Do you want to touch them?
No. Well,
How is
sir,
the case coming? I'm very eager to have my son's murder avenged.
I'm sure you are, sir. As a matter of fact, I've come in order to share some information with you that I think you might find interesting. As it turns out, the gun, Dumbo, has
Yes.
been discovered.
You don't say.
I say,
Do tell.
I shall.
Post haste.
Et tu, brute.
Ipso facto.
You see, the gun was found in Miss Jennifer's house.
The combination to my gun safe is a date. The 23rd of April, a date that is very important to me.
And why is it so important to you, sir?
When I was in Australia and I met Henry's mother, she already had a daughter. That daughter's birthday was April the 23rd. That girl could hunt like no other, and I strongly considered staying in Australia and raising her as my own. You should have seen the way she grilled and ate meat. But when I found out her mother was a criminal, I took my son and we fled back to England. I have always wondered what became of that girl.
And what of the mother, sir? Does she live?
I'm sure she died long ago in jail.
Are you sure?
No. I don't know what became of her. She was in Australia. I came back to England and I never looked back. But it is the greatest regret of my life, for I should have also taken that girl with me.
This woman, the mother, sir.
Excuse me. Mr. Woodbridge lives here.
Yes?
Yes, I am Mr. Woodbridge. Oh, Jennifer, hello.
Jennifer.
Yes, you were my son's fiancée.
You do know me then.
Yes.
I brought something for you. Henry's little stick.
And you've got his name inscribed here at the 5-inch line. The apple didn't fall that far from the tree.
To say how much I miss him and how sorry I am that he's gone.
Jennifer.
As a matter of fact, it's a nice coincidence that you're here, Jennifer. Perhaps the news hasn't quite reached you yet, but the murder weapon has been discovered. The gun, Dumbo, has been discovered.
Indeed? Is that so?
In your house.
Oh, no, not possible.
Oh, very possible.
Oh, no. You call this Dumbo? No.
You might as well denying it. I personally discovered it while rooting through your personal belongings.
Jennifer, you have always looked remarkably familiar to me. Those eyes, they remind me of sun setting in the Australian outback. Have we met before? It's like you're a half-remembered dream from a lifetime ago.
Wait a moment. Stand just here and turn. Oh, yes! I think I do know you.
What is your birthday?
It's April
What is the date?
23rd.
Jennifer,
Yes. You
it
know
is me, Jonathan Woodbridge.
Oh!
I was with your mother so many years ago.
Oh, my pretend papa. Oh, yes! Oh, yes,
Jennifer, this is a remarkable coincidence. How on earth did you find your way back to St. Mary's Mead? Also, back then your name was Linda.
Oh, well, I didn't like Linda so much.
Linda, Jennifer, how did you come to be acquainted with my son?
Well, I met him at the vegetable convention. we were at a lecture about legumes versus nuts. We had quite an interesting conversation, for it is not true that a legume is a nut. In fact, well, it contains protein, it is not a nut. Yes, we met at this conference, you see, and then I found out that he lived here. And I fell in love with him, and I came here. And yes, I do have the gun.
Miss Marple.
That gun belonged to me.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to take you down to the station for some questioning.
That's my Dumbo.
Miss Marple, thank you so much for meeting with me to speak. May, would you like some tea?
For Answorth, no, that's quite all right, thank you.
I know that you are assisting with the case, yes?
I am.
I have suspicions, strong suspicions, that Jonathan is the one who murdered Matilda.
Jonathan?
Yes. I know that Matilda, I know that Jonathan was making passes at her.
But what? That's not sufficient for murder.
He is a man that is quite trigger happy. And a man like him, who gets rejected, perhaps might not handle rejection very well.
She was with child.
Yes.
Could it have been Jonathan's?
No, it was mine. I must confess to you. I was truly in love with Matilda, and upon hearing that Jonathan was trying to make passes at her, I couldn't stand it. And I lied. I said that I was in love with Miss Marple, but I was not. You see, I just wanted to get back at Jonathan. The best way I could was to break up his marriage. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand that he would make moves at my beautiful, beautiful bride.